Mikee P back on the Indie Money Players podcast, and lots of big racing this weekend, including at Ellis Park, because they are previewing the Kentucky Downs meet, and we have plenty of turf races to go over on Saturday and Sunday. The bulk of them are on Sunday this weekend, but the guy I go to for Kentucky racing analysis is Chris Cupples, and Chris is back with me. Chris is digging holes for pools at his house. His wife, he's taking care of his wife. There's lots going on in his life.
Yeah, I've been doing many multitasking ventures this week. It's getting a little overwhelming.
I'll have to make you handicap a little bit. And I know you love Ellis. I know you love Kentucky racing. And, these races that preview this Kentucky Downs meet, which is not too far away now, Chris. I mean, in another month, we'll be at Kentucky Downs. And they made some news this week, changing the minimums on the wagers. They're looking to have, some of those higher minimum wagers. And for Kentucky Downs, I mean, for us as horse players, I do think that it's something that's very attractive.
Yeah, and the pools there and the deep fields, it's just amazing. And I'm looking forward to taking Matt's belt from him this year.
Of course, Matt Miller, he won the King of the Turf last year. You get a belt when you win that contest. I think Matt had that wrapped up even before it started, it seemed like, last year with all the entries he had and the bets he was making. So
he dominated, but I am coming for you, Matt.
Yeah, look out, Matt, because Chris, if anybody can get you, it can be Chris. Well, Chris, Saturday, there's a couple turf races at the end of the card, races 9 and 10, and they're shorter races. They're 5.5 furlong races. We have 2-year-olds in race number 9, and it's a listed stake here. It's $200,000, and you have the Wesley Ward on the outside in Fan Shell Beach, 9 to 5 morning line. Yeah, you get a return from Ascot. This horse took money over there, was sub 7 to 1 and a 21 horse field and the Norfolk Stakes. So you come back here. It looks like could be favored. You get Hazelwood. I mean, he's a little bit chilly at Ellis, but I mean, obviously he's stepping up in class. I love the way he rides. Do you like this one, or are you going to try to find some value?
If I spent a bunch of money on a multi-race ticket, I would use this horse, but I'm going to talk about this horse to give you another one. Like Mikey said, Fan Shell Beach is going to get crushed. Outside post, blah, blah, blah. But the horse that shipped with this one to Ascot's name is Ruiva, Ruiva. Put that one in your stable mail. When they shipped over, me and Pete talked, I thought Ruiva was the best of his 2-year-old turf horses. I'm waiting on that one to surface here back in the U.S. So I would use the 12 on deeper tickets, but I have no interest in just win betting. I would be looking at the one Tolstoy. This one on debut at Keeneland, got Pratt to ride, then tried to stake the company on the dirt. Now we're going back to the grass for a hot barn with an inside post. Everything positive there. And then the 10, Hey Tough Guy, I thought was very impressive on debut. Then it's another that tried the dirt for Stakes Company the next time. Now we're going back to the grass. Lynch gave Mario a shot when he, came east and came back here, and it paid off. They are 30% together in 80 starts and 55% of the money. I know them are crazy numbers. I know I'm assuming Mario's working most of these horses in the morning, so he's familiar with them. I would look at using the 1 and 10 and probably fading the 12.
Yeah, and these Life is Good, so it turned out to be very good so far. He's red hot out of the gate. I think he's over 50% with some of those 2-year-old starters there. So that's an interesting look in the next to last race on Saturday. Race number 10, you get 3s and ups now, going 5.5 here. This is the Hummingbird Stakes. And Chris, we have lots of cross entries because of all the big colonial races this weekend. I think you kind of have an idea of who's going where. So who'd you like here?
Well, Saturday Flirt, from what I read on Twitter, when I know everything on Twitter is not the gospel, but the horse is running at Colonial and not here at Ellis. So that's going to put me at using the 8 Chloe as my top pick. That horse has 1 bad race and 9 starts, and that was a dirt route at Tampa. Her turf sprints with blinkers on have been solid. Ran second to Saturday Flirt, who is shipping to Colonial. Got beaten by 2 lengths to Italian Soiree at Saratoga. And I thought her last race was her best yet. So I'm looking at that one. And then as long as we don't get any rain and it stays really hard, I would use the 11 Etzel. This horse, I think 5 furlongs is really what I'm waiting for. But if it's really hard and stays dry and they don't catch any of these random summer showers, I would use that horse at a price. And then the 1 Big Trouble is going to be looking for a pace collapse drawn inside. We'll have to prove it without Lasix. That horse is nice and can finish. So I would be using the 1-8-11.
Yeah, and Arietta running extremely well. He's 28% right now, and this horse suits his style. He typically likes to sit and come from off of it, so I think that's a good fit for Arietta to get on Big Trouble there. So I think that is a good look. And you mentioned Saturday Flirt. I know this isn't a Colonial show, but I do think that horse has a big chance at Colonial on Saturday. So if you're watching this show, I know you've always been a fan of that one, and for Saturday Flirt to show up over there, I do think that she has a big chance on Saturday. Let's go to Sunday now, Chris. And we have the late pick five straight turf races. If you're a turf fan, you got to jump into these 5 straight stakes here on Sunday at Ellis. And we have the pucker up, straight 3-year-old fillies now, Chris, a mount and 8th. And, this race, I did think, kind of could be a little bit wide open. The 6, obviously 9-5 morning line is going to take a fair amount of money here. Gets away from Tam Tam, but it seemed to me like that maybe this horse picked up pieces last time where Tam Tam dominated that race. So really, this horse is no slam dunk.
Yeah, I thought this was a tough race, and I just kind of wanted to, especially with being the start of the pick 5, to pick one and if you're wrong, you can wheel back. Infinite Sky. This horse was soundly beaten by its stablemate last time. That was off the layoff. While Embrace Time was making her second start of the year. I would primarily be looking at the 8, maybe a little 7-8 exacta backup.
Good start to the late pick 5 there at Ellison. Mount and 8th, though, Chris, that's always a little tricky, especially for these straight 3-year-old fillies. A lot of them haven't seen that. If you look here, the bulk of this field have been racing at a mile or less. So, I mean, that's one great equalizer here. And that's one I think that makes this race a little bit tricky. I probably would wait mostly.
Yeah, I could see that. And like I said, it is a tough spot.
Race 7 straight 3-year-olds, and it's the Water Tower Stakes here. Again, a mount and 8th for the boys. Blackmail is 2-1 morning line here. It comes out of the Belmont Derby. Couldn't hang with Title Roll and West End Kid. Remember Mamba. All really, really nice 3-year-olds on the turf. Gets a better spot here. And if you look at the 2-back line, this one had trouble against West End Kid. It sort of gave that one a little bit of a scare in the stretch. Certainly had trouble in the lane getting clearance enough that they entered that Belmont Derby. Chris, I do think that this one probably should get a better trip here. He drops. He's probably supposed to beat these horses.
I suppose. I have this horse as a B, and It's a pet peeve of mine. Something we talked about in our group chat. Me and you talked about. You got to keep contact with this one. You got to keep its head up while trying to ride. The type of horses get into a duel needing to finish, they better have some breathing room, because a horse with a nice stride that can get its head down and run's going to outfinish them. I can see it most definitely drawn inside. Smart Cassie, everything there is positive, but that is a B for me. I'm going to the 1 and 7 Fancy Sailor. Fired his best effort last time. Then back during the winter, his colt was working with Wine on Sunday stablemate. That's 2 for 2. This horse has never raced without Lasix, so that does give me a bit of hesitation. And on top, I've got Royal Causeway. The price on this horse the last 2 times is, been kind of dumb, but I've got that price on him. But it's done nothing wrong in 10 starts, just was not finishing his races. And then it seems like in May, I thought the light bulb come on and he just finished better when he ran 4th behind Supercharger. Then he came back the next 2 at 5-1 and 10-1 and wins. I know he loses Lasix, and always makes me turn my head a bit. But I'm going to use the 2 more likely on a multi-race ticket, but I'm probably going to bet the 7.
Yeah, Royal Causeway. I had him on June the 6th there. I really liked him. I'd bet him several times prior to that. And he finally got a decent ride, decent trip to win. And then, of course, I missed him when he came back on July the 4th. I wasn't, kind of plugged in that day. And he was 10-1. So, but a new pilot, too, I think has a pilot that has suited him. He needs to sit back and kind of make that one run. And that's something that he definitely needs. And he's gotten that in his last 2. Now, I want your take on the 9 Swerve. I'm not sure if you saw that race at Ellis last time. This horse was probably going to win that race there on July the 9th. And really just got absolutely crushed heading to the stretch. The horse almost went down there and really no chance whatsoever. So the line looks bad in the form, but if you look back, I mean, he raced against Supercharger. He's had some, I know he's still a maiden, but he probably shouldn't be. He's 15-1 morning line. I mean, he's a little hidden here.
Yeah, I know he has the form too. He just another one that just kind of runs the same pace around the racetrack and always turns me away. If this horse hits the board, I can see it. I didn't want him on the win end.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what Street Beast is going to do. I mean, he's entered at Colonial also. I know Michael Donovan likes that one for a race over at Colonial this weekend. But if he shows up here, he might have a little bit of a pace edge.
He should be loose, and that's going to come back to talking about the weather, especially 2 days out. But if it rains, it's going to make it tougher for these speed horses to stay. And more likely they'll keep these on the turf unless it just comes a downpour. If it stays harder, I can definitely see Street Beast taking them wire to wire.
Race 8's 5.5 back to sprinting, Chris, and this is a turf spread, 250,000, and lots of turf sprinting stakes this weekend. But Joe Shiesty shows up here, 2 straight second place finishes. Just got nailed on Derby Day, and that was brutal. And then ran the one of the fastest horses really in the country, and Doncho last time on June the 6th. He's back in here. He's probably controlling the race again. What's your take on him? Or can we try to find another price?
I'm going to use him. I know he's so quick out of the gate; it's unreal. So he's going to be on the lead, and he can get 5.5 furlongs. But I do think he's better at 5. I know he did lose last time going 5, but that was to Doncho, who I think is going to be a player in the Breeders' Cup this year. So when Joe Shiesty fits, he deserves to take money. I'm going to use him and the 8 equally. Like everyone else, I hate betting a horse back at a short price after I hammered it last time at 6-1. But I'm probably going to do it. I think Sedelio now realizes that he needs to get this horse involved and stay up front instead of grabbing and reining him back. And then he's just going to have to try to outfinish Joe Shiesty. I think he'll be able to set right off of him outside.
What about the 11 troubleshooting? A third back in here. I just missed 2 works for me there on the return. And then, ended up in the Doncho race last time from off the pace at Churchill. This one, he's got a lot of class to him. I do think that this could be a bit preppish for Kentucky Downs because this one does have a win over that racetrack. So we'll see. But, I mean, obviously a contender.
Yeah, I had him as a C. I know I basically had the 1 as a B with the inside post, and I had troubleshooting as my lone C. He's talented, but you're going to be drawn wide and is going to be looking for this race to fall apart, which it very well could, but I don't like the post, and I think the other 2 are just better.
Race 9, got the Sunkiss Stakes here now, Chris. It's 3-year-olds and up fillies going 1 mile, and we're all on the grass, as we've said here. And you have Madero showing up in here as sort of been knocking around a little bit in Kentucky. Tried the Jenny Wiley, tried the Mint Julep. Is getting checks versus horses like Expensive Queen. Did really well at Fairgrounds, and whenever this horse came in the wintertime, this horse will take money. But again, I think another favorite that's worth opposing.
Yeah, has a lot of class in running lines and should be forward. And I did have trouble separating the 4 horses that I want to use here. I would use Medoro, but Stylus Sue's who I've got on top. I think this one, might be the one we want drawn inside of the other speed. But this horse also does have some excuses where it's been on the lead and just threw it up, at the end and just quit. I want to use the 2, 7, the 8, and the 12.
And 2, I think, is a good look, and it's going to be a price, especially with that inside post, Stylish Sue. This one could control the race here. If you look back, lost to Catherine Marissa, who, came back to, become a grade 1 winner and is really very sharp. So she needs to sort of get, I think, her trip, but, she does have possibilities in here. And, she's proven without Lasix. So, she has, that nice win at Turfway without Lasix. I know that she's had some lines where she's, gone backwards, but at least she's shown the ability to win without it in the past. Chris, as far as the 10 goes, I love you anyway. You have that nice win at Keeneland in a 1X, then tried Lone Star, got ringed off the grass there. This is sort of like a typical Rusty Arnold kind of spot horse. This horse has some back lines. I do think at a price definitely has possibilities.
Yeah, I've been a fan of this horse in the past, but she always come up short. It seemed like many times when I bet her, it just doesn't finish, and it's just one that I just kind of divorced.
Mm-hmm. Let's go to the last race, number 10 for Sunday in this Kentucky Downs preview show. And another listed stakes, Chris, Mount is 16th here. And, again, you have some really nice horses. A Brilliant Birdie shows up in here. Quattro Central, I know we've been a fan of in the past. Vote No is a nice horse. Flying Mohawk, lots of familiar names. I would probably try to pick Giacoso. I really like that horse getting back to this to this course. Has a win in a second so far. Comes off a nice win in Texas. It's 15-1 morning line. So that's where I would go. How are we going to get paid?
I want to spread here. I know Brilliant Birdie is arguably the class of the field, drawn inside. There's everything to like about this horse, but one thing I don't like, and that's the addition to blinkers to an older horse. I'm not training this horse, and by all means, they know more than I do, but it's just something that seems like they're reaching. I would use Brilliant Birdie on spreadier tickets, obviously. The 4, Quattrocento, is all speed. That's the horse I want on top, especially if it stays dry like we talked about. This horse got good last year at Ellis, and we are back at Ellis. Mm-hmm. I will primarily be 2 and 4, but the 8, Vote No, has been marred by trips, and I've never bet $1 on this horse, but my friend Kyle Roscoe has a small piece of this horse through Crown's Way, and he picks this horse and bets this horse every single time. So my heart's going to be rooting for Vote No, but I'll primarily be the 4 and 2.
Yeah, and that one actually, does very well with those marathon distances, those mile-and-a-half races. It seems like that one's a little bit better suited to those conditions. But again, a nice horse. What about Mercanti? I guess he's supposed to go here, Chris. He's could be the speed that maybe is right off of the edge of Quattro Central and the spots. He's got some class to him also. He was a little better last time. And is there going to be a good enough price here maybe to use this horse on tickets?
I think he's going to be hung wide. And I also think he got really good around Derby time last year. And we caught this horse at a price. And since then, he's just been mediocre. With no excuses, and I'm just another one. I'm just done with him.
Well, Chris, good luck, and we have lots of big pots to look forward to at Kentucky Downs, but the horses need to get ready. So Ellis gets them ready. We looked at 7 turf races this weekend at Ellis Park. Kentucky Downs preview. A lot of these horses you're going to be seeing in a couple weeks here at Kentucky Downs when the money is on the line. So appreciate your analysis and your help, and good luck to you on Saturday and Sunday at Ellis.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
This is a production of In the Money Media. This is part of the Late Week Show this week. So catch us on the audio side. I know JK has some Monmouth coverage. We have some coverage from PTF and the Adelphi guys for Sunday Saratoga. So jump in on the Late Week stuff. We'll see you all next time.